This is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a marvelous day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel, and we are commanded to love one another. Well, today is sort of a serious topic, even though the title doesn't suggest that black men are partying over this. It is very serious when you think about your rights as an American citizen. This dynamic duo had a podcast called Fresh and Fit. It began in 2020, and from then till now, they gained a subscribership of over 1 million. I listened to them only when they did or said something that went viral. It was hard to know whether they were red pill or manosphere or just anti-black immigrants, because they came across as two black people, two immigrants that did not like black Americans. Early on in their podcast, they had their greatest success beating up on black American women, talking about how unattractive black American women were and how much they did not like black American women and didn't date black American women. So that's how they got on the radar. And that's when a lot of those manosphere types started praising them about being great podcasters and how talented they were. The late Kevin Samuels, the darling of the manosphere, actually made an appearance on their podcast, and their ratings went through the roof, even though later on they came back and trashed Kevin Samuels, and that's when the red pill manosphere people turned against them. What these two discovered was that hatred against certain groups of people in America can bring in a lot of money. When you're talking about black people, especially black women, you're talking about the LGBTQ, and then you're talking about women, modern women that they call them. These would be white women that are feminists who will speak their mind and won't take anything off of them. They found out that if they go after those people, they can make a lot of money, and that's what they did. They went from being provocative to being outrageous in the things that they would say and do. The only pushback they were getting was from black women, and this is at the very beginning when they started this. Black women would go after them. Black women would make videos about them. They would flag their videos for YouTube to examine, and they acknowledged that black women were the only ones that complained about what they did. They said they could talk about white women, Asian women, Hispanic women, and they didn't do anything. But if they talked about black women came for them back. And I applaud black women for that, because if you don't protect your image, nobody else will. But black women held their feet to the fire. But over time, other people started complaining about them because they seemed to have no boundaries. There was no low that was too low for them to go. It should be noted that there was a segment of black male YouTube, especially these manosphere and red pill types, thought it was funny what they were saying about black women. They were agreeing that black women weren't attractive and black women are the least desirable. All of that kind of malarkey that they like to spew against black women. Black men found that amusing. In the beginning, black men found that amusing and would do videos about what Fresh and Fit had said about black women. But then they turned on black men and started talking about black men and referring to them as being dumb and making these monkey things and different kinds of things they started saying about black men. And that was when black men got mad. These men are immigrants. The one on the left is named Myron, and his family migrated from Sudan. The one on the right, I'm not sure what his name is. They call him Fresh. And he migrated here from Barbados. But he does not connect with the black American community. What's important about these two, and this is the case for many immigrants to the United States, especially black immigrants, they take the idea of freedom of speech too far. There is a saying in the United States, your rights end where my nose begins. So they did not respect that, especially where black women were concerned. Well, I'll put it like this: they didn't respect women at all. If you looked at I didn't watch their podcast, but from time to time, things they said about black women would go viral and everybody would be talking about them. So I didn't watch their podcast, but I am familiar with what they do on that podcast. They bring on a lot of controversial guests. It is said that they get the women drunk. They have a lot of OnlyFans and Instagram model types on their platform, and then they'll ask all these provocative questions, and if the women don't give them the answer that they want, then they become abusive. They can make a big deal out of kicking the women out of the studio, and their tactics are really cringeworthy. So this podcast has been problematic for a lot of people for almost as long as they've been on YouTube. Well, what happened Friday, they were demonetized by YouTube, and that's what black men are partying over. Black American men are partying over the fact that they have been demonetized by YouTube, because once you get demonetized, you got 1.5 million subscribers, and you're doing super chats and live streams and whatever else people do to make money on YouTube. They were making a lot of money. That money stream has dried up. They claim they don't know why they were demonetized, but YouTube does have guidelines. Well, what he could do would be to go to some of these black men's channels. They've done a compilation of all of the racist, offensive, and inappropriate things that he's done towards black people, against black people. And those are things that could get his channel demonetized. So if he doesn't know why they demonetized him, which is the same as kicking you off the platform, he could go to a number of several black men's channels, and it will be very clear to him why they were kicked off. And the reason I'm doing this video is because there is at least 2 black men in the manosphere, or who call themselves red pills, who supported them at the beginning. One of them said that they were very talented podcasters at one point, until they made him mad. So they started out talking about black women, and as long as they were talking about black women, these black men were on board with that. They thought what they were doing was so cute and so funny. But then they turned on the black men and started talking about them, because they don't really like black people. As I see it, even though they represent themselves as black, they're not really our black. They're immigrants. What I find disheartening about the whole thing is that black men were not offended when they were talking about black women. They joined in the laughter. It was only after they started talking about black American men and making fun of black American men that they became so appalled by them and started talking about them. But up until that point, there are at least 2 very popular YouTubers that were calling those guys talented, and they had the best podcast out there. They are 2 of the main ones that are celebrating that Fresh and Fit's podcast has been demonetized. So this was a lesson that should not have had to be learned. Black men, and I'm talking about the ones who supported these guys, should have already known that anybody who doesn't like black American women also doesn't like black American men. They're not on your side. There would be no reason for them to be on your side. And for men who have so much disdain for women, it needs to be questioned, do they really like women? There's no such thing as I don't like black women. Yes, you can have a preference, but if you like women, you like women, because there is no one black woman. We are a multifaceted group of women. So you like women, and there is not one in the Black American demographic that you could like. Black American women are not a one-trick pony. We are tall, short, thick, thin. We have different features. We have different hairstyles. We are of different personalities. And of all of us in this demographic, you cannot find anybody you like. You've decided that all of us is one Black American woman. Then there's something wrong with you. And I stand on that. Okay, y'all, let me know what you think about the video. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Share the video. And as always, have a great day.